know, they want fame, they want quick money, they want fast money.
Right.
And a lot of these guys that are getting this fast money, they lose it just as fast.
Right.
And they're starting over and starting over and starting over. So the breakthrough would be losing everything.
Right.
Or borderline bankrupt, or not having anything, losing a loved one, losing a mom, losing a dad, losing somebody that they really care about, or losing their job and or being homeless, you know? These are breakdowns.
Yep.
And the only way to break through these are to overcome these obstacles. I have friends that lost $1 million, literally $1 million cash in one day.
That's insane.
That's a lot of cash.
That's a lot of cash.
A lot of cash. But as a business owner, you're getting jabbed, you're getting punched every single day. You're like going into a boxing ring.
Right.
You know?
Of course.
You know?
That's like, it's especially if you identify with your work, as most of us do, then it's kind of like an identity crisis.
You want to get to $1 million, you're going to lose 100, 200, 300,000. You have to lose it. You have to.
You have to.
And we scaled that fund from $80,000 4 years ago to $28 million liquid and $86 million of bank approved loan.
Wow, that's
so
impressive.
in 4 years, which is decent. It's decent. As a man, this is the turning point of Octo Investor also, and multiple streams of income. And after my car accident, I couldn't work for 5 or 6 months in construction because I work with my hands, 19, 20 years.
Welcome back to another episode of Unveiled. I'm here joined by Joseph de la Rosa, aka Octo Investor. So we're about to get started. And the first question is, what is and who is Octo Investor, and why did you choose that name?
Octo Investor came to me about probably around 4 to 5 years ago. The Octo side is an octopus, obviously, Octo Investor.
Love it.
And I came up with this slogan or brand of Octo Investor about 2 years before COVID-19.
Interesting.
Possibly 3 years before COVID-19. And it came to a point in my life where I wanted to tell all my friends, and I did tell all my friends and family, that multiple streams of income is crucial. It's absolutely crucial for anybody that lives on planet Earth. You need multiple sources of income.
Yeah.
And the Octo side came from 8 arms of the octopus. 7 arms will be 7 streams of income, okay? And 1 arm for stability, which is planted in the ground.
Wow.
Yes.
I love that.
Typically on the 7 streams of income, I pitched to my friends and family that we need at least 2 to 3 earned incomes.
Okay.
And 3 to 4 passive incomes, AKA mailbox checks that come in every month.
Nice.
And then the 8th arm is for the stability. Now the Octo at the same time is more of a chameleon. Octopuses, they can
100%.
blend into scenarios.
They're flexible, adaptable.
Very flexible. And the octopus blends into all scenarios at any given time. So not only you're a chameleon into society, where you can blend into any case or scenario, whatever market that you're in, you have 6 to 7 streams of income, if they're passive or earned income, and you have 1 arm for stability. So that right there is where the Octo Investor came from. And
I
then,
love that.
Yeah, and then after COVID-19, a lot of folks actually listened to me.
Yeah.
They're like, wait a second, I had 1 stream of income, COVID-19 hit, right?
And everybody was trying to find something, how do they make more money?
Exactly. Everybody was scattered. Everyone lost their jobs. You're like, wait a second. I put all my eggs in one basket for 1 stream of income or 1 job, and they lost it. And now they're like, oh, what do I do now?
Yeah.
So now they're like 5, 6, 7, 8 months without a stream of income.
Right.
And it was a massive disaster with the economy.
Did you come up with this 8 streams of income ideology on your own? Was there like a mentor, inspiration, someone that inspired you to like understand this when everyone else was thinking, I have to put all my eggs in one basket? How come you were thinking different?
Yeah, well, the fact is that multiple streams of income is critical for anybody, regardless if you're 16 years old or if you're 80 years old. We need to figure out a fact to stabilize us and our loved ones. So in focus, getting a high-paying job or a high skill set job is critical. So I don't care if you start at 18 years old, if you start at 35 or 40 years old, the main focus is to get 1 stream of income that's dominant or a high-paying job, right? And then start scattering some of that money, or at least 10 to 20% of your salary, into passive income or passive avenues that you can monopolize for yourself and for your loved ones if you have family and kids and stuff.
So essentially, you find your main source and on your free time, build every side hustle, build passive.
Yeah.
Okay, so is that what you started? I know you had mentioned construction was your first job.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you first started working with construction? And then how did you build off of that?
I started construction about 16 years old. I was 16.
Wow.
Yeah, I was really young. I started construction with my dad. My dad was a painting contractor.
Okay, that's
for about 30, 35 years, a painter. And I started working with my father about 16 years old, 17 years old, painting houses.
Nice.
But I ended up not liking the painting thing. My father wanted to pass the painting company over to me. It was called Artistic Painting Contractors here in South Florida. And my father wanted to pass the painting company to me, but I realized very fast that in 5 to 6 months, you're a painter.
Yeah.
So there's not really too much skill set in painting. You cut the walls, you spray the walls, and you roll the walls. Boom. In 6 months, you're a painter or a professional painter. So the problem with getting a job or a career that is very easy to do is that the labor is also a lot low too. If that makes any sense?
Yeah.
And when you have a profession where you can hire somebody at 10, 12 bucks an hour, it's the competition is fierce because a lot of your competition, they're getting cheaper labor than you. And now you have to lower your prices to accommodate for the market swings of being a painting contractor. So when I was like 19, 20 years old, my father saw an article in the paper for plumber, like a plumber helper.
Yeah.
And my father was like, son, you want to be a plumber? And I was like, Dad, what's plumbing? You play with toilets all day. You play with, not so healthy stuff, right? And my dad said, give it a shot, and I gave it a shot as a plumber.
Okay.
I went to plumbing school because my boss at the time was giving me a free education. Okay. So anybody who wants to start school, go to school.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Question though, I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
So while this is all happening in your life, was there talk about pursuing just traditional sense of educational school, or you wanted to? I mean, obviously, plumbing is more vocational style education, right?
Yeah, like on the job training stuff.
Right. So what was your programming when you were younger? Were you taught or were you told that you should do regular school, or like your dad just embedded in you first, the painting and then the plumbing?
Yeah.
That's more or less like you were encouraged to do anything and everything.
I was never really book smart. I was more hand smart, They say brains are bronze.
Right.
I was the bronze side, of my family. I have a brother and sister. They're more of the brain side.
Yeah, that was me too.
Yeah.
So I fully relate to that.
Yeah. But I was more physical with my hands. If I see something I like, more mechanically inclined to work with my hands, and that's pretty much how I started.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's awesome because you're the living proof that the education, like traditional sense of schooling and education, doesn't have to be the only way, to find your success. Because you started with the construction, then you tried plumbing, and then?
Well, after plumbing, I got my master's license at 24.
Okay, so you did go to school through that.
Yeah,
okay.
So I did a 4-year program. I finished in 3 because I I finished my college. I was in construction technology at FAU.
Nice.
And I got my bachelor's in construction for construction management.
Okay.
And I said to myself when I was like from 20 to 23-ish, those years, I said to myself, let me get a degree in construction management. But the problem is that with the degree, and most folks that go to college and get degrees, they end up working for somebody.
Right.
And see that, and I've always had a problem with working for somebody. I couldn't have a boss. I couldn't have someone tell me like, okay, 9 to 5, 30-minute break, a 1 week vacation. Like that's all you're allowed to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this can't be life. Having something or someone above you telling you how to run. It's limiting. Yeah.
Very, very limiting. And someone who invented the concept of the octopus, of the Octo Investing, that's so limitless and abundant.
Yeah.
Like that's massive compared to someone telling you what to do all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So then what did you do after that?
So I graduated college with a bachelor's in construction science.
Okay.
But for me, it was just a degree that I put on the wall.
Right.
It was just a degree.
Right.
And I'm like, what am I going to do? I have a degree now. Now I got to go apply for jobs and I got to go work for a construction company. That wasn't for me. But at the same time I was going to construction school, I went to plumbing school.
Nice.
And the plumbing business, it fascinated me. It fascinated me with plumbing. It gave me an opportunity to be creative, learn the art of plumbing.
Okay.
And it's not just putting water heaters in and putting fixtures in and stuff. It's more of the engineering side of load calculations and water distribution systems and potable systems and sanitary systems. So it's really in depth.
It's systemic.
The plumbing system is a gold mine trade, I would call it.
Yeah, I mean it's always going to be necessary, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then so from plumbing, so you did construction, plumbing, and then at some point you shifted off into real estate.
So I shifted off into real estate about probably around 7 years in the plumbing, give or take.
Okay.
7, 8 years. And I've been in thousands of people's houses, just thousands of houses. And I've seen electrical, plumbing, roofing, driveways, air conditioning. So I've been around it for quite some time. And I said to myself, well, wait a second. There's more to the story. The reason why I've always been, I've been in real estate for probably around 14, 15 years now. Okay. But when I really went like full blast into real estate was when I got, believe it or not, when I got into a terrible car accident.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I got into a terrible car accident.
Pivotal. Okay. How old were you?
I was 27, 28-ish.
Okay.
You know, around there. And what happened was it was about 10 p.m. at night, and I was a little bit like tired. You know, we're all tired about 10, 11 o'clock at night, you know?
Yeah.
And I was on the right side of the road, and the right side of the road is usually where you don't want to be unless you're turning, making a right turn, you know?
Right.
So some guy ran a stop sign, literally out of residential, and I went right through him, and I broke my spine, actually. My L1 and L2, yeah. I split my L1 and L7. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I forgot which spines. I think 1 and 7.
Okay.
But I had 2 surgeries on my spinal cord.
Wow.
And I couldn't work with my hands for about 5 or 6 months, like literally for like 5, 6 months.
Yeah.
So at that time, I said to myself, well, if I can't work with my hands, is my life over?
Wow.
Yeah, because your whole life you're working with your hands.
No, of course. You know? That's like, it's especially if you identify with your work, as most of us do, then it's kind of like an identity crisis to a degree. It's like an athlete, breaking their foot.
A major injury, yeah.
Yeah, a major injury. Yeah. You just identify so deeply with what you do, and it's your sense of stability that when it's stripped away, you're just like, whoa, like what am I good for? Who am I? Okay, and then continue.
A lot of going back to athletes. Yeah, a lot of these athletes, they have very short-term careers because they play such at a high level. Yeah. One accident could be catastrophic. Yeah. You know?
I fully understand the octopus reference now. Right? Because if you're so locked into just one thing, you won't have that devastation when that one thing is gone.
Exactly.
You can be adaptable and flexible enough to just pursue another avenue. You know? Okay, so then this happened. I'm so intrigued in your story right now.
Cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So after I got into my car accident, this right here was the absolute turning point in my life right now, guys. Sometimes in life, and I tell this to a lot of my friends and followers, in order for you to create a breakout in life, you have to, it's followed by a breakthrough. Right. If that makes any sense. So there's a breakdown, which is like basically you're down to your last $10, basically, last $50. That's the breakdown. Yeah. And the breakthrough is people and processes that you accumulate through time by changing your circle of friends. 100%. And they have that saying, it's your 5 closest friends resemble who you are. Right?
Yeah, that's my
so, and that's another thing that a lot of these teenagers these days and younger guys, you know, they surround themselves with guys that are not going in the right direction, right? But they want to be have a sense of popularity, right? If that might, you know,
100%.
But a lot of these kids these days, they're not going in the right direction that they're made to go. Right. You know, they want fame, they want quick money, they want fast money, right? And a lot of these guys that are getting this fast money, they lose it just as fast, right? And they're starting over and starting over and starting over. So the breakthrough would be losing everything, right? Or borderline bankrupt, or not having anything, losing a loved one, losing a mom, losing a dad. Losing somebody that they really care about, or losing their job and or being homeless, you know? These are breakdowns. Yep. And the only way to break through these are to overcome these obstacles. Right.
What keeps you personally grounded in, you know, straying away from the temptation, from the distractions? Because what's happening now is exactly what you mentioned. Exactly. Yeah. A lot of people, I don't want to say most and generalize, but a lot of people do tend to find themselves lost chasing the status, right? Because right now, I think we're in a time where we associate a lot of status and fame and, you know, celebrities with wealth, richness, success, and sometimes that's a really jaded perspective. Exactly. So what keeps you kind of in that clear knowing of, you know, that that's not the way that you want to go, and you want to stay successful in your way? What keeps you grounded?
So the 8th arm of the octopus, basically.
Yes. Okay. The
8th arm. The 8th arm is for stability. It's for focus. It's for awareness. And having the balance, having a complete balance in life through health, through wealth, through emotion, through relationships. Yep. Having that balance in life, it slingshots you to next levels. Right. As soon as you get off balance, you know, like you have a bad relationship, you have a bad job, you have a bad boss, your brain starts to get a little bit off track, off focus, if that makes sense. Yes. And
fully.
When you start to go off focus, you have to get back on focus as fast as possible.
Correct.
Imagine yourself like a train. You're going 100 miles per hour. You are the train, right? And you don't want like any obstacle to jump off the track. You know. Right. So with that being said, just complete focus. Domination. And just making sure that you are taken care of first, second, and third. That's how I see it. It might sound a little shallow, but if you cannot take care of yourself, how can you take care of your loved ones and the people around you?
I fully agree. Plus, if you're not taking good care of yourself, it will reflect. What's within is always going to be shown without. So I fully agree. So I'm assuming you're into, and you do a lot of self-development for all that. Do you have any mentors that you look up to, any books you've read, anybody that inspires you to stay, that focus that you're talking about, that sharpness?
The focus for me, honestly, at the end of the day, the focus is every day and every life management, basically. Like every day as a business owner, because I own a business, obviously. But as a business owner, every single day you have people trying to rob you, trying to sue you, trying to blackball you, trying to harass you. Every single day as a business owner, like when you work for somebody, you work your 9 to 5, you get your little paycheck, and you go home, you're happy. After 5, it's your time, on the weekend is your time, whatever the case may be. But as a business owner, you're getting jabbed, you're getting punched every single day. You're like going into a boxing ring. And a lot of business owners, they take a $10,000 hit, $50,000 hit, and they fold up. They're like, oh, business is not for me. Let me go work for somebody. And the problem with working for somebody is that you have another person in control of you. You're not breaking through the cycle. If that makes any sense?
I know, I fully understand.
Yeah.
What systems do you have in place to basically audit your everyday alongside your business so that you can, kind of see if you're up to par with your goals and in your journey?
So systems and processes that we accumulate. So when we do our real estate, or we do plumbing, or we do construction, or whatever the case may be, is getting as much capital as possible and getting rid of it as fast as possible. Me personally, I get a little bit scared sometimes when I see too much cash in my bank account. A lot of folks, the old school.
I love that perspective.
Yeah. Wow. A lot of the old school mentality is like save, cut coupons. But that's more of a defensive mode.
Yes.
Defense is
it's rooted off scarcity.
Exactly. Yeah. Defense is like pulling coupons out, saving money. I want to save for the rainy day. Offense mode is getting as much cash as you can and getting rid of it as fast as we can. Putting your cash or your liquidity into tangible assets that generate passive income, and then either compounding interest or accumulating cash as much as possible. You want your cash to work for you as hard as you're working for it. If that makes sense?
Yes, of course. What do you have to say to somebody that, a lot of people that are employees, do live in that scarcity mindset, especially like the older generations, immigrants, whatever the case is. What kind of message do you have for them? Because, if they're pushing out money, they might not have this full faith and trust that it's coming back. So how does one develop that trust that money will come back tenfold? I know you already know it to be true, but what happens to the people that are not there yet? So
this right here is going to be the true answer for that question.
Yes.
Okay. When I from the age of like 20, 21 to like probably like 30, 32-ish, maybe like 30, 31, 32-ish. I've been hitting 6-figure years consistently, low 6 figures, net profits, which is decent. It's decent.
Of course, yeah. It's more than some people are currently making,
But the answer to that question is when I hit 31, 32 years old, I got my first mentor. This is the critical turning point in my personal career. And I got my mentor very late in my career. Well, maybe not late because I was 30s. 30s not too late. If I were to change it up again, I would get a mentor in my 20s.
Earlier.
Like early 20s, And what I mean by a mentor is somebody that's doing something 10 times better than you are doing or you want to do in the same niche that you want to get into. I don't care if it's e-commerce, drop shipping, real estate, goods and services, health, wealth and fitness. But when I got my first mentor at 32, 33 years old, when I hit like 35, like literally like 2 years later, I hit my first 7-figure year.
So he broke that plateau. He helped you.
I broke it.
Or he or she, I don't know.
Yeah, it was he. Yeah. I broke through from 6-figure to 7-figure when I got my first mentor. So when you say people are going in the rat race, they're working the 9 to 5. The problem is that not many folks are willing to invest in themselves.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes in life, you got to spend a little cash to get into those groups, get into those circles, open those doors for you. Go to those pop-up events, and pay a little bit of money to get a mentor that you would like to exchange places with. And that's the fastest way to scale your operation. Honestly,
I love that. Yeah. No, and that ties into what you were telling me earlier. Truthfully, I think what you're also saying is that you need to in order to spend that little money, like you said, you need to be courageous enough and be willing to spend that money. Otherwise, you're never going to let it go, to invest in yourself. If you don't have that willpower, you're never going to do it. So you need just a little bit of courage to be willing to invest in yourself in order for it to return. And I think that willingness, there's this great analogy I've heard that I love. It's like a pendulum swing. So if you're willing to play really big, you're willing to also lose really big.
Exactly.
And it's exactly what you were talking about, the millionaire advice. So if you could share that, what was that you had told me, the highs and the lows?
Well, I say this to a lot of my friends, and they ask me the same thing. They're like, Joe, how do you get to $1 million status? How do you get to $1 million status? And I tell them the same way you get to $1 billion status. You know, in order to become a multimillionaire, you're going to have to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah, there is no questions about it. Okay, you want to get to $1 million, you're going to lose 100, 200, 300,000. You have to lose it. You have to. You have to. There's no. It's like a right of way. Yeah, like a rite of passage. You can't go from $0 to $1 million without losing something in your life. Right. You're going to lose a lot of friends along the way. Yeah. You know, you're going to lose a lot of money through trial and error. Right. You're going to put a lot of your time and energy into areas that you're going to lose. Right. But I don't consider them losses. I consider them lessons. Yes. You know. Yes, if you lose $100,000 this month, it's not a loss. It's a lesson. Right. How did I lose $100K? Why did I lose $100K? What was the reason why I lost $100K? Whatever the case may be is. Right. So in order to get to $1 million status, you're going to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now on the flip side, to get to $1 billion status, I have friends that lost $1 million, literally $1 million cash in one day. That's insane. That's a lot of cash. That's a lot of cash. A lot of cash. But with that being said, some of my friends they're on their way to becoming billionaires. Right. You know. Right. But that's the nutshell, you know? Yeah, and I can only imagine the mental fortitude you need to have to withstand that emotion of losing $1 million cash. In a day. And that's why that support system you talked about is so crucial, because we can't do it alone. Yeah. You know, you need to be able to have that backbone friend that is also going through that same thing, more or less, or can understand that conversation to be able to support you through it. Yeah. But to wrap around, okay, so we did construction, plumbing, and then we got into real estate. Yeah. Where are you now in your journey, current day? Well, I came a long way. You've come a long way. Yeah, I came a long way. Are you proud? Before we continue, am I proud? I mean, yes. Yeah, I'm proud. I'm proud. Are you proud of yourself? That's proud. That's as you should be. I'm very proud. That's good. But makes me happy to hear. But breaking through to breaking through levels in life, like literally breaking through from like tens of thousands of dollars to $1 million status to $1 billion. You know, like I'm not a billionaire yet. But I'm in the process. You know. Yeah. But at the same time, with that being said, you have to break through. You have to break through. And going back to that same thing about people that are stuck in the rat race. Yeah. Guys, if you're stuck in the rat race, get yourself a mentor. That's the first thing you have to do. That's the absolute first thing you have to do. I fully agree. I put in one of my stories on IG, on Instagram, and one of my reels were if you have less than $100,000 in your checking account, which a lot of folks do, have less than $100K in their checking account. Yeah. The absolute very first thing you need to do is get yourself a mentor. Okay. I don't care if it's a mentor in cooking, if it's making pots and pans, whatever the case may be. It's a constructor, a doctor. Right. Get yourself a mentor as fast as you humanly can, and hold them and say, listen, what can I do for you? Right. Now, going back to mentorship also, when I was in my 20s, or when I was in starting the construction, my construction career, when I was like 19, 20 years old, in that time, I couldn't find work. I was one of those typical 18, 19, 20-year-old kids that couldn't find work. Right. And I applied for jobs. I applied for air conditioning job, plumbing job. Nobody was hiring. No hire. I flipped. My brain just completely flipped. Yeah. My brain. And what I did was I contacted contractors, plumbers, AC guys. I said, listen, you don't got to pay me anything. I will work for you for free. For free. Wow. Literally for free. Yeah. All I want is the education. I want the knowledge. Now, I love that. I can almost guarantee that 99% of guys out there will not work for free. Are not willing to do that. It's that willingness that I was talking. It's the willingness, exactly. It's that hunger. The hunger, yeah. So I applied for an AC company. I called this guy an AC company on the phone. Yeah. And I said, listen, just give me a job. Just give me an opportunity. I'll work for you for free, whatever you like. I ended up working for this guy for 3 months. Right. He taught me how to do AC change outs, coil cleanings, duct work, for AC stuff. Yeah. That 3 months of free work has made me well over $500,000 in air conditioning work. Chills, yeah. Exactly, yeah. I did the same thing with a septic and drain cleaning company. Okay. I contacted a septic and drain cleaning company. I said, listen, you don't have to pay me nothing, zero, zip. I just want to learn. Please, just teach me. Right. And I worked for that guy for 3 to 4 months also for free. Right. That 3-4 months has well made me over 7 figures because I'm in the plumbing industry. Yeah, that's impressive. But at the end of the day, sometimes you gotta give. For the younger guys that are listening, sometimes you guys gotta give. You guys gotta give, and it's
sacrifice.
You gotta sacrifice. Yeah. Either you're gonna pay with time or you're gonna pay with money.
Yeah.
You gotta pick you gotta pick one.
Right. It's all in exchange. And truthfully, as I'm listening to you, I can tell that in that time, what really was happening was a lot of character development, because you're in a transition where you're turning from a boy to a man, as you know, many. Like that's the age that's happening. Yeah. And that character development of that ambition, that hunger, that flip of that switch that you're talking about is what builds that character. It starts building that mental toughness, And then you being in the field, it's what I call honestly just like emotion. It's EQ versus IQ. You at that time were not in traditional sense of educational school.
Exactly.
Like most of us are taught to pursue. I got a degree at the University of Florida in biology, animal science. Love it. I learned so much. But I will tell you that I've learned more in my time in the hospitality industry that I'm in now in terms of character development. I have learned how to talk to different people. Like you mentioned, you went to multiple different houses. And even in that moment, you also learned how to flip the houses, which is probably a gateway to what took you to real estate. Which, okay, we'll lead with that. So then you gatewayed it into real estate.
Yeah, so after my accident, where I damaged my spine in my accident and I couldn't work for like 5-6 months.
Right.
It was a very dark time in my life, very, very dark, very dark. And what I mean by dark is the way I was brought up, I was old school. The man goes to work, provides for the family. The wife stays home, watches the kids, take care of the house, whatever the case may be. That's the old school mentality. And that's how I was brought up. The guy goes to work, the wife stays home, takes care of the house, whatever.
Provider.
And as a man, when a man can't work and a man can't provide for his family,
of course,
that's dark.
Yeah, that's dark.
That's dark.
You devalue yourself.
You can't take care of your wife. You can't take care of your children. You can't take care of the house because you can't work.
Right.
That's a very dark period for any man.
Of course.
I can imagine. It was really dark. Yeah. And so that was the time when I had the light bulb moment. Right. My light bulb moment was what happens if and I want the followers to understand this.
Sure.
As a man, this is the turning point of Octo Investor also, and multiple streams of income. And after my car accident, I couldn't work for 5 or 6 months in construction because I work with my hands, 19, 20 years.
Right.
And all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, boom, your hands fall off. You got no hands because you have an accident.
And that can happen to anyone at any time.
At any time. You can get into a car accident. You can fall off a roof. You can do a slip and fall at a store and tweak,
anything.
Exactly. At any given time. So planting the seeds with multiple streams of income is crucial. And that's where the Octo Investor came in.
Love it.
So what happened was when I was not able to work with my hands for about 5-6 months, I said to myself, what am I good at? I'm good at real estate.
Right.
I'm good at fixing and flipping. I'm good at putting deals together. I'm good at stuff like this. So I ended up pitching 12 of my partners, 12 of my local friends, 12. And Bill Gates did the same thing. He the same thing, but I'm going to go into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
I pitched the idea of capital raising and going into the fix and flip sector.
Okay.
So I pitched 12 of my friends, my closest friends. 11 of my friends said, well, you know what? I whatever the case may be, is they don't want to work with me, whatever.
Right.
I had one of my friends, he said, listen, Joe, what do you have? I said, well, I got $40,000 at the time.
Yeah.
So he says, I'll match you.
Okay.
So he put 40, I put 40. So we started the fund. We're gonna call this the pre-launch of the fund.
Okay.
Of Octo Venture Capital.
With 80K.
With 80K, yeah.
Okay.
80K. And it's not a lot. 80K is not a lot to put into the real estate market. Especially in South Florida. We're in South Florida right now. Yeah. And 80K is like, you can't buy squat with 80K. You're gonna have to leverage a lot, right? So we ended up fixing and flipping one house. We made around 35% profit.
Okay.
And then we're like, wait, we did pretty good. So we flipped another house and we made another like 34% profit. So my friend's 40K in the first year, I turned it to 128,000.
Nice.
So he went from a 40K to 128,000.
Nice.
So we're like, wait a second, we just 3x'd.
Yeah,
in
we
the
just
first
did
year.
something.
We did something. So that's a light bulb moment,
100%.
right? So when he started seeing a 3x return, and keep this in mind, guys, a lot of the real estate we do, like pretty much 99%, almost 100% of the real estate that we do is all tax-free money. Because there's loopholes and systems that we use to depreciate our capital gains through depreciation factors of real estate. But we can go into that a little bit later. So once we 3x, he told his friend, I told my friend, and little by little we were raising 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, and we started putting money together to build this fund. It was a pre-launch. It wasn't a SEC filing or a 506C or a 506B. We didn't go into the SEC filings just yet.
Wow.
Later on we did, as we built the fund. But 3 years later, we've done hundreds of like we've done tons of fix and flips.
Yeah.
And we scaled that fund from $80,000 4 years ago to $28 million liquid and $86 million of bank approved loan.
Wow, that's impressive.
In 4 years, which is decent. It's decent. It's not 100 million, but it's decent. It's getting there.
No, but it's good. Okay, I do have a question for you. So like in hindsight, right? We know that accident for you was such a pivotal
turning point
in your life.
That was a low,
right. So back to kind of the pendulum I was saying, if you swing really low, you're most likely swing really high. It's kind of the law of duality, universal law. And this is just a personal opinion, I just kind of want to get your idea on it. Do you think something like that is fated? Do you think that was part of your destiny? Like, had that moment not happened, would you be where you are now?
No, absolutely not.
Right. So do you think that has developed faith within you? And if you could share some, like how you feel about, your faith and your trust with the universe of whatever source you...
So I've always been a religious kind of guy.
Okay.
I don't pray every night or go to church 2-3 times a week. But I believe in the Lord. I believe in the Lord our Savior and stuff. I believe in Christ and stuff. But when I was going through that dark time, and the dark time was it was dark.
It was dark. I really believe you.
Really dark. Like dark. Like I want to finish everything dark.
Yep.
I gave myself to the Lord. I did. I gave myself to the Lord. And I said, listen,
that's powerful.
Very powerful. Yeah. And I said to myself, if I'm not going to take my life, I'm not going to take it. I'm going to give it to the Lord himself. I put my hands up to the air and I said, listen, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. And I'm going to put my hands in the Lord.
Okay.
And at that time, that was a monstrous turning point in my life.
Of course.
From going to being partially handicapped.
Yeah.
Not working with my hands. Imagine working 20 years with your hands and a blink of an eye, you can't work with your hands no more.
Yeah. I mean, I instantly related to just athletes that, lose their...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's the same thing, different industries. It could happen, imagine being a painter. And then you lose your hands,
Yeah, that's crazy. So with that being said, I gave myself to the Lord and I said, listen, this is I'm not going to take my life.
Yeah,
I'm not going to take it. And I've been like going back to the millionaire status and even billionaire status. You're going to have monster swings in life. You're going to have monster swings. You're going to be up 50K, down 20K, up 100,000, down 200,000. The road to being successful is monster swings, and there's no straight road from A to Z. You're gonna get curveballs. You're gonna be thrown into the fire, thrown into the pit. You're gonna walk on glass. And the more money you make, the more people that are gonna attack you.
Yeah.
That's why most millionaires and most billionaires, they don't show too much.
Right.
They're quiet. Millionaires, they're a little flashy sometimes, and they show a little bit.
Right.
But we're in Miami, and you know how it is in Miami.
Yeah, the culture is a little different here. I feel like you
here.
can't really... Miami's not too comparable to other places in the world, but I fully understand what you're saying. Yeah. How do you personally discern what friends come into your life now, whether like knowing if they're going to be true friends or if they're trying to, learn something, right? Get a piece of the pie. Perfect way to put it. Yeah. How do you discern with friendships right now?
So my circle's really small. I have maybe like 4 or 5 like close friends that are like just a small little pocket of friends.
Right, that you could share everything.
Yeah. I've had the saying, I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Yes.
I'd rather have four quarters in my pocket than 100 pennies.
Less quantity, more quality.
Exactly.
Okay.
So with that being said, the circle of friends that I have are let's put it like this. When I go into a room, where I don't know anyone, I'm the last person to talk.
Okay, this is an interesting perspective.
I'm the absolute last person to talk in a room. I walk into a room, I don't care if it's a meetup, a meet and greet, a seminar. I'm the absolute last person to talk. I'm skimming the room.
First, okay.
I'm skimming the room. I'm observing the room. I'm seeing who's talking what are they talking about, needs, wants, culture, investments, investment opportunities, business plans, business ideas, and I'm picking the room off and I'm seeing who's what and who's talking what. Now, you can't grab a hold of everything at one time because sometimes people might be talking about golf.
Right.
That might be multimillionaires.
Right.
But other people might be talking about a new stock that's coming up that's going to 10x.
Right.
So you kind of want to be ahead of the pack. But with that being said, I pick my friends according to what their needs and wants are and where their dreams are.
And how they fit with you.
And how they fit with me,
in alignment. Yeah. I love that. But also when you said that, I kind of imagined the octopus, like in a networking event, just kind of observing and seeing,
who's doing what,
who's doing what. Yeah. I love that mindset. I think I'm going to definitely stick with that because it's you can apply it to so many different parts of of life.
Of life, yeah.
You know? So, okay, where were we in your journey? We are now in real estate,
in real estate now, yeah.
And could you just talk a little bit more about that? Truthfully, I told you I come from science-based, and now I'm in hospitality, so nothing to do with real estate. And let's say a person wanted to switch into the real estate industry today. What are some tips and tricks, or maybe some myths you want to debunk? You know?
Yeah. So So speaking of real estate, a lot of people that go into the real estate sector, they well, first of all, the average person, in real estate buys between 2 to 3 properties their entire life.
Okay.
The average person moves from one house to another house every 7 to 8 years, on average.
Wow.
On average. Think about it for a second.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah. Well, a lot of folks, they want to build their own stability. They want to build their own home.
Yeah.
And when you have a home, you don't want to move every year, every 2 years. It's too much.
It's overwhelming.
You got to move. You got to find a place. You got to buy something. You got to rent something. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So the average person lives about 7 to 8 years on a house, right?
Okay.
But an average person that buys real estate or single family homes buys 2 to 3 homes in their entire lifetime.
Right.
It's not easy to buy a house.
Of course.
You know, and the cost of entry to buy a house, let's say a single family home right now, is around, I believe it's around, it used to be about 31 to 32% of your gross income.
Okay.
Now FHA, which is Federal Housing Administration, they raised it to about 33 to 34% of your gross. So they're raising the barrier where they can loan you the money, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
Because inflation is real. Inflation is real. We're losing around anywhere between 5 to 6% of inflation, international inflation annualized.
That's ridiculous.
That just simply means if we're losing 6% of our money supply due to inflation a year, that just means if you have $100,000 on your mattress, you come back next year with $94,000.
Yeah, just those 6 are gone.
Exactly. So that's going back to getting rid of cash as fast as possible.
Okay. I see the mindset.
You get the mindset now?
Yes,
so
of course.
When I see too much cash in my checking account, like if I see like $100,000 or $500,000, I get nervous.
Right.
I'm like, why do I have so much cash?
You want to utilize it as soon as possible.
Exactly. I want to get rid of the cash as fast as I humanly can. I want to put into a tangible asset that generates passive income, aka real estate or apartments, that gives me a monthly or quarterly distribution.
Right.
Plus, real estate only goes up in value. It only goes up in value based on supply and demand.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
My mother and father, they came to America and they bought their first duplex about 60 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, in 1940, 1950, something like that. And they bought them for $50K, $60K a duplex. You know, now they're worth $600,000, $700,000.
Ridiculous. Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Real estate only goes up. It only goes up.
Wow.
And in South Florida, where we are right now, South Florida appreciates an average of 9% annualized. Just buying a piece of real estate.
That's crazy.
And not touching it. I'm not talking about fixing the kitchen, fixing the bathroom.
Right.
You buy a piece of real estate, you don't do absolutely nothing to it.
Right.
And it organically goes up because we're in a hot market. We're in a primary market, which is Miami.
And it only keeps getting better and better. They're building more attractions, you know, so everything's just going to keep going up. Yeah,
honestly, I think Miami, since we're on the topic with Miami right now, Miami is a beautiful place. I love Miami. I've been here my entire life. I'm actually a Fort Lauderdale boy. One city above Miami. But with Miami, I go in, I do my business, I do my work, and I buy real estate in Miami and whatnot. But it's an appreciating market. Miami's an appreciating market. And I honestly think we have, just an opinion now, I think we have like another maybe 10 years left in Miami, plus or minus, until we see a little bit of a pop, like a plateau.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
California had that post-COVID when the tenants, they weren't able to take the tenants out.
Right.
And that was a monster defect in the real estate market. In California, the rental market depreciated about 15%.
Wow.
On rents in California.
So why 10 years for Miami?
Because the problem is that Miami, the real estate keeps going up, and the rents they can't catch up to it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Miami right now, Miami real estate is trading.
Yeah.
And I say trading like kind of like a stock market.
Okay.
Real estate trades just like the stock market trades but instead of a stock, you're trading a piece of property, a tangible asset.
Right.
The market in Miami trades at around a 5 to 6% cap rate or capitalization rate. Okay, so basically cap rate just means that if you were to buy a property 100% in cash, and you're making a 5% cap rate on your property, you're making 5% annual return if you bought the property 100% in cash.
Okay.
That makes any sense?
Okay, so, I'm keeping up with you.
Yeah, that's formulas and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
So with that being said, if your house is giving you, if you buy a piece of real estate in Miami, let's just say, you buy a duplex, a triplex, a fourplex, whatever the case may be is,
perfect,
and you're getting a 5% annual return, but you're getting 6% on debt.
Yeah.
you're upside down 1 point.
Right.
The bank's giving you a loan of 6%,
right.
but the house is giving you a 5% annual return.
Right. So really, what are you profiting? You're not making anything. Yeah.
Exactly. Now the problem is that the rents, they have to continue to climb to meet that supply and the resistance level of buying the real estate. And the problem is that the real estate can only go so high.
Yeah.
Once tenants, they can't afford to buy properties, there's going to be a market pop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that number is about 10 years.
Wow.
Or less.
Yeah. And we're already so saturated. I feel like Miami's so busy. There's so many people, and then more people that want to come and live here still. And there's still so many, I don't know, I live in downtown, the heart of downtown.
Yeah.
And even though I live right there and there's so many buildings around me, they're already building like, I don't know, 2 or 3 buildings just in my 100-foot, radius, literally. Exactly. So, I mean, how do you feel your business is going to get affected with what you're saying right now with Miami? How much business do you do in Miami?
Well, in Miami alone, okay, so I'm actually shifting gears this year, actually, guys.
Okay.
I'm shifting now. And this year, so I've been investing in South Florida for about 15 years.
Okay.
And I've been able to 2 or even 3x my money.
Okay.
Through appreciation in South Florida. And that just simply means that you put $100,000 in, and in about 2 years, 3 years, you have $200,000 or $250,000 or even $300,000. That's the appreciation side. The downside of investing in South Florida is there's no cash flow. There's zero cash flow. I've been investing in South Florida for 15 years, and I'm averaging around about $150 to $200 clean per apartment.
Okay.
Now, the magic number for retirement, so we have to consider as Octo Investor, obviously, what is the magic number that we need for retirement? So if we stop working completely, what is that number that we need to retire?
Right.
Is it $5,000 a month?
Right.
$10,000 a month? $20,000 a month?
Right.
Residually, AKA mailbox checks?
Yep.
And that number goes up in value once you have a house,
right.
You have kids,
right.
You have to have more passive income, right?
Of course.
So with that being said, the problem with investing in South Florida is, yes, you get the appreciation. You can get a 2 or 3x multiplier, AKA, and also tax-free also. But we can go into that later. But the cash flow is not there, which means you cannot quit your 9 to 5.
Right. Which is what's happening.
Yeah, you can't quit your 9 to 5. A lot of these folks, they buy a duplex, triplex, fourplex. The deals aren't big enough.
Yep.
They're not big enough. You have a duplex, you're making, let's say, $200 per apartment. Duplex, that means 2 units, you're making $400 clean. You can't retire with $400 clean a month.
Yeah, you can't.
So you're forced to continue to work.
100%.
That's the problem.
That is an active problem right now. Yeah.
So my transition this year is I'm selling off all my residential properties.
Okay.
I'm offloading everything. I just sold an 8-unit building for $1.5 million.
Wow.
I got a couple fourplexes more. I got to offload a couple duplexes. I'm offloading a couple single families. I'm offloading. My mom has a couple condos. She's offloading.
Okay.
So we're offloading all the residentials in South Florida, and we're going to go out to the Midwest and just go do a monster position.
Interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna. Okay. I think in April or May, we're gonna tackle maybe like a 50 or 60 unit position.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a monster.
That's exciting, though.
Yeah, it's a big transition. Yeah.
That's awesome. Very happy for you. Let me think. I had something that I was thinking about with the Octo Investor. Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. It was, okay, so then as you're doing all this, right? So you're going to offload all of the residentials
yeah.
in Miami, and you're going to go do all that. What are you doing on the side that fits the Octo Investor mentality that you're talking about? Like, what other passive streams of income do you have?
Oh, I've been in the game for a minute.
Okay. So for someone who doesn't, right? Let's say you're talking to somebody or someone who's listening that's really hungry for this, that nobody has unfortunately told them, because now you are a mentor to others. Yeah. And hopefully your message gets out there, Yeah. So what would you tell them, or what can you kind of guide them into passive income streams?
Well, the passive income side right now is you have to consider, and you have to master the art of leverage.
Okay.
You have to master the art of leverage, because as a man, we only have an average of 8 to 10 hours in a day to do what we have to do. Okay. As a man, we go out, we make whatever we make, right. Daily, whatever the dollar amount is, and that's it. We're done. We want to go home. We want to relax, whatever the case may be.
Right.
So the power of leveraging is taking a percentage of your income. Obviously, you got to put some money to the side, right?
Right.
And start off with something passive.
Yeah.
Now, the easiest way to get into real estate is to buy a duplex, buy a triplex, a single family. A lot of folks will look at a single family home. The problem with a single family home is once your rental or your tenant stops paying you the rent, you're shot.
Yeah.
There's no income coming in. Right. So as a first-time home buyer or somebody that wants to jump into the real estate sector, they have several programs. One is called an FHA 203B loan, which is a 3.5% down payment to buy a property, which is a single family, a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex. I recommend guys going into triplexes or fourplexes for your first investment because the cost of entry is extremely low.
Yeah.
You can jump in with a 3.5% down. It's an FHA 203B loan. But also there's another loan called FHA 203K loan. Now, this is the loan I would recommend everybody that's watching us to jump in. If you're a first-time real estate investor, jump into the FHA 203K loans. It's the same thing as the B loan. The only difference is that the K, they give you $35,000 worth of working capital to be paid at the end of the 30-year amortization schedule, your 30-year finance program, your 30-year. So the FHA 203K loan will give you $35,000 a bonus up front to be paid 30 years from now.
Yeah,
so what you do is
a nice cushion.
Exactly, yeah. So not only are you putting 3.5% down for a first-time home buyer, which you can go a single-family home, duplex, triplex, or fourplex. But I recommend, like I said, a triplex or a fourplex. The more doors you have, the less liability.
Yeah,
right?
Of course, and the more tenants and
exactly. Yeah,
more likely you're not going to have zero.
Yeah, you're not going to zero out. Yeah. So you take that $35,000 on the 203K loan, and then you fix your kitchen, you fix the bathroom, you start fixing things up where you can in return, raise the rents, right?
Right.
And then after like 6 months to a year, you can refinance out of that, right? Or the equity, we call it equity, the appreciation you built into the property. Right? So let's say you buy a duplex, let's say for $500,000, let's just say hypothetically, and you have 35K. It's not a lot, but you can, a kitchen is around 10K, a bathroom's around 5K, and about a half bathroom's around $3,500.
I mean, it's enough.
It's enough, yeah.
It's enough for that example.
Exactly. So you buy a property, an FHA 203K loan, they give you the $35,000 credit, whatever the case may be is, on $500,000. You fix the bathroom, fix the kitchen. 6 months from now, you get it reevaluated for like $650,000, $700,000.
Nice.
So in 6 months, you just picked up another $200,000 of equity in your property.
Right.
On an investment property, you can pull 75% of the equity that you force appreciated.
Okay.
On a homestead where you live, you can pull 80% equity on a homestead. Nice. So it's a little bit less for investments, but what you do is you just take the 75% of the appreciated value after 6 months, and then you snowball it into another 3 to 4 units. That's called the monopoly effect.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds exciting when you're talking about it. Like it makes me feel like I can do it. It makes sense.
That's called the monopoly effect. When you're able to take the equity, and by the way, when you pull money out of your properties, it's tax-free. Every time you borrow money against your property, it's tax-free.
Oh, because you're borrowing against your own money.
You're borrowing against the house, yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's smart. Does everybody, and mind you, very ignorant question I'm going to ask, but does everybody know that?
Nobody knows that.
Okay, because this sounds like a cheat code.
It's a cheat code in real estate, yeah. So it's a cheat code in real estate. Like people that are in real estate, they understand the fundamentals of real estate and scaling.
Yeah, you're able to like keep your capital in, borrow against yourself.
Tax-free.
Tax-free. It's brilliant.
And snowball it. I call it snowballing it into another position.
Yeah, and it's safe.
And it's safe,
and it's safe. And you're not losing.
You're not losing, yeah.
Wow.
So I call that the monopoly effect. The monopoly effect, I don't know if you guys ever, a lot of you guys played Monopoly as a kid growing up.
Yep.
Remember that game, Monopoly?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was pretty big at that game.
Yeah. Well, it's fitting that that was a good game for you because look at you now.
I accumulated all the apartments on Broadway.
So funny.
Yeah, it's crazy, yeah. So the monopoly effect works like this. You buy a duplex or a triplex. Let's just say duplex for starters.
Yeah.
So duplex is 2 units, right?
Yep.
You take the $35,000 on the FHA 203K loan, and you appreciate, you fix the bathroom, fix the kitchen, you raise the rents, and then you get it appreciated for whatever the case may be. It's an extra $100,000, $200,000, right?
Right.
The 75% loan to value or LTV, you can pull out, right? As an equity pull out, right? On a refinance. Take the 75% loan to value or the money and go from doors 2 to 4. Okay. Then do it again.
And do it again.
Doors 4 to 8.
Right.
Do it again. 8 to 16, 16 to 32. You get it?
Yeah.
So that's the monopoly effect. When you scale, you scale your real estate portfolio. And guys, you can do this exponentially fast. It's wicked fast.
Yeah.
You can do a kitchen and
So you just need the initial capital.
The initial capital, which is only 3.5%.
Right. And then you do need the guidance on taking out that loan. Right.
You need a mentorship, yeah.
Okay. Is that something you provide your business?
Yeah, we provide mentorship.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually launching our real estate investing made simple course.
Nice.
We have a mentorship program for real estate investing made simple. Okay. And then we have a fast track course, like a no fluff, just straight to the point. How to underwrite, how to find deals, source deals, how to raise capital. Just a complete overview, like a bird's eye view of real estate investing.
Right.
It's called OPM Today's Real Estate Investing Made Simple.
Okay, I know, I love that. And I think that's the perfect fit for someone who has the same mindset of you that's trying to is that how you say liquidize their cash as soon as possible.
Exactly, yeah.
So like they have somewhere to put it. It's trusted. They're able to understand the concept right away if they've never done real estate, and then they can start their journey.
Exactly, yeah.
I love that. So then what is everything that your business does offer? Just so that we could put it out there. So
I have multiple businesses.
Well, this one in particular.
Which one? The educational side?
Yeah, the educational side. Like the mentorship and the one-on-one. Is it online? It's in person?
Yeah, so we're actually going to be hosting a free workshop.
Okay.
It's not going to be a big workshop because it's going to be a very limited seating.
Okay.
It's going to be free. It's probably going to be maybe 15 or 20 people.
Okay.
I don't want to broadcast the location because we're going to get...
that's fine, honey. Yeah.
We'll get over 100 people at this place.
Okay.
You know, it's a real fix and flip, like a fix and flip, like in time, like in-person event, and it's a free masterclass. And we're doing it for content. I need it for content.
Nice.
For Octo Investor. But the real estate investing program, so it starts at $7,000.
Okay.
7,000 for the mastermind program.
Nice.
But what it includes, so usually when I throw an offer out for like 7,000, I'm putting in $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 worth of value. I'm not going to throw out a $7,000 product and give no value.
Right.
So I'm always like 10, 15, 20xing the value of whatever I'm offering.
Nice.
The mastermind course, which is $7,000, it comes with $40 million of working capital.
Wow.
$40 million where you can tap into. It comes with private mentorship, one-on-one Zooms, one-on-one mentorship program. It comes with everything from A to Z, a business in a box to real estate investing.
Love that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Did you ever see yourself doing this?
So
as a younger, just a personal question, you know.
So going back to the accident.
Yeah.
Going back to the accident and going back to the plumbing business.
Yeah.
I noticed that when I was younger, and this is for the younger anybody that's watching. Yeah. Figuring out a way how to utilize the internet.
Yes.
The internet, right?
Yes. We were talking about that with social media as well.
With social media, yeah. So figuring out a way to dominate and capitalize using social media, e-commerce, e-learning. Right. You can scale. You have way greater reach than just working in your backyard. Like me as a contractor, as a plumber, AC contractor, I'm only limited to my backyard, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. I can't scale. I can only scale. I can only work my backyard.
Right.
But teaching and helping individuals in the real estate sector, I can scale. You know, I can bring education, theory, and logistics to people in LA, New York, Chicago, even and also one of our partners, Gio, he's here right now. Also, we're creating avatars. Nice. And we're using artificial intelligence and AI to mimic my English, the English for the courses, right. And transition into Spanish, Italian, German.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can reach every language.
So we can go worldwide now with our courses. Yeah.
Nice. That's pretty big. That's exciting.
It's big.
That's going to be 2025?
2025 this year.
The vision for 2025. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah. We're going to go worldwide. We're not going to just control. We're not going to dominate just the US.
Yeah.
We're going to go worldwide because our methods and our processes and our theories and logistics behind real estate investing is the same anywhere.
Right.
You have a piece of real estate.
Right.
Either you're paying cash or you're taking on debt. Right. If you're taking on debt, which is most everybody, there are systems and processes that you need to have.
They need to work.
You need to have a clear understanding on how to properly invest into real estate.
Right. Mm-hmm. And if they don't, that's why you need the right mentorship. Mm. So prior to this that you're doing in 2025, what's the highest high that you've had in all your businesses on top of, and then also the lowest low? If you could share.
The lowest lows and the highest highs.
The lowest low not being, the personal life, but more so in business,
Oh, business, yeah. So going back to the journey of being, breaking out, going onto the journey of breaking out into the 6-figure to the 7-figure status.
Yeah.
I've been borderline bankrupt 4 times.
Wow. Okay. Lowest low.
Borderline bankrupt. I've never filed bankruptcy. I never filed it. Right. But I've been borderline.
You felt the feeling.
Yeah. I've been, the lowest lows would be like you're down to like a half a tank of gas.
Yeah.
And your next paycheck's in 2 weeks.
Oof.
That's a low. That's a super low.
That's a low.
Yeah.
That's a low.
But the paycheck in 2 weeks was $250,000.
Nice.
So
nice.
It's like, yeah. So the journey to success, it's high highs and low lows.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, you could be up 50,000 and down 100, up $250,000, down 500,000. So it's like the swings are crazy.
It's life, right? The same roller coaster of life.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anything in particular that you'd want to share with your guests that you feel like you haven't talked about, you haven't touched on, something that's really...
Well, at the end of the day, the mentorship.
The mentorship.
The mentorship. Yeah, guys. If you guys are, and I tell this to a lot of my audiences.
Yeah.
If you have less than $100,000 in your checking account, the only thing you need to be worrying about is getting a mentor. Absolute getting a mentor. I don't care if you want to learn how to bake cakes.
Right.
If you want to, be a firefighter, be a construction worker.
Okay. Would you recommend, if you're going to pick one mentor, right, a self-development mentor or a business mentor first?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I guess maybe you would have to audit your life and see where you need the most help first, right?
Yeah. That's a good one. And that comes into place with balance.
Right.
With balance. Figuring out finances, relationship, health, wealth, stuff like that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, obviously, and going back to money, you have to respect it.
Yeah.
When it comes to money, you have to respect it. You can't spend more. You can't spend more than what you have.
Right.
A lot of folks, like the majority of people, they spend, and like, oh, I'll make it back later.
Right.
And some people do that. Like Andrew Tate's like that. He's a big influencer online. Mm-hmm. He doesn't look at the price tag. He just buys what he wants to buy, and he worries about it later.
Okay.
And some cases it might work, and it may work, because now you have motivation in front of you.
Right.
You have the new car, you have the new outfit, you have the new whatever.
You have to keep it up. You have to. Right.
Yeah, it gives you motivation or drive to push a little bit harder.
Right.
But at the same time, creating generational wealth is preserving the capital that you worked for. That makes any sense?
Right. It's like respecting your own time and your own efforts as well as the money.
Yeah.
So what is your relationship with money? Because there's so many different gurus. There's so many educational books about money, and the relationship with money for everyone could be a really difficult one or a really beautiful one, depending on how you grew up and all that. But what's your advice and your relationship with money like?
I respect it.
You respect it.
I respect money. Yeah, I respect money. Yeah, because money. It goes to time. Time is money. Money is time. And I'm at the point in life where I don't look at money as much as I used to.
Okay.
I look at time.
Yeah.
I look at time. So I flipped the script with money and time.
Okay.
I don't say to myself, okay, how much does this cost? I don't look at the price no more. Now what I do is I look at how much time it takes for me to buy this. If I'm looking at a $250,000 car, I say to myself, okay, how long does it take to make a $250,000?
Right.
Is it a year? Is it a month?
Right.
Whatever the case may be is.
And is that car worth that time?
Is that car worth my time? Yeah. But then again, I'm very bullish on tax benefits.
Okay.
I purchased a Mercedes G-Wagon, which is the
I've heard
for the 179 tax credit. Mm-hmm. You can do that with the Lamborghini Hearses, Rolls-Royce. I think it's Rolls-Royce Phantoms.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, any vehicles over 6,000 pounds, you can write off 100% year one.
Okay, that's impressive.
Right now, I own 125 properties right now. Rentals.
Okay.
But I'm also an equity partnership of over 600 properties.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the scaling side. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about that. And then honestly, at the end, I think truthfully, I just want to end with asking you what you love most about what you do. So let's talk about what it is that you.
That's a kind of like, because
What?
That's a tough question.
That's a tough question.
Yeah, that's a tough question because growing up as a kid, I was verbally abused as a kid. You're never gonna do it. Get up and get it done. Really hard. Like my parents were really hard on me. Because they're old school.
Right.
I've always wanted to break out of the shell.
Right.
And be better than what I was before. That makes any sense?
Right. Of course.
So for me, there's failure is not an option.
Right.
Failure is not an option for me.
That's the driving force.
Failure is not an option. Yeah. And I've had big L's, major L's. I've taken $100,000 losses, $1 million losses. I've taken big losses in my life, and most guys would fold up.
Right.
Most guys would be like, "Yo, I can't do business. Business is not for me."
Right.
But those 10, 20, 30,000, 100,000, $1 million L's losses. Right. Those are like punches. Those are like being in business is like going to war. You're in a boxing ring.
Right.
And a customer robs you 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. They rob you, and what are you going to do? You're going to fold up and cry,
right? Or
are you going to go out and make another 100,000? What are you going to do?
Right.
And that's part of business.
Is that tenacity? Is that perseverance?
Yeah.
Do you think a younger version of you is trying to prove something to your to your parents, to how you grew up, to that younger version of you that might have believed you couldn't do it?
Yeah. So Will Smith has this thing about the film production, filming with movies. Will Smith's drive in film was fear. was fear. And fear is very powerful.
Yeah.
Fear of failure, fear of being broke, fear of not providing for your family and your loved ones. The fear is the drive.
Right.
And in my case, that's my drive too also.
Yeah.
It's the fear of failure, the fear of being broke, the fear of not being able to get what I want or do what I want or obtain the freedom that I want.
Right.
And that's the drive that pushes me to work, 6-7 days a week, just like and be dominant. But
Yeah. No. And the fear of allowing anybody who doubted you to be right.
Yeah.
Whether that be yourself or anybody else, because no, you're just not going to accept that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
So OPM today is Real Estate Investing Made Simple, the Fast Track program.
Okay.
It's a $500 program.
Okay.
And it's modules and tutorials and deal calculators and stuff like that.
Okay.
That's our low ticket item that we're pitching.
Nice.
For the month of January and the month of 2025. It's our low ticket. It's called the Fast Track program. And it has the main concept behind the Fast Track program for OPM today's Real Estate Investing Made Simple is the 5 core factors of real estate investing.
Okay.
The 5 core factors is an extremely, extremely critical component of real estate investing. Knowing the 5 core factors of real estate investing, you'll be able to dominate your city in any location.
Love that.
At any time, in any market. I don't care if it's Midwest, if it's South, if it's Florida, if it's or Ohio, whatever the case may be is.
Right.
The 5 core factors is critical. And not only in the US, in the UK, in Africa, in Europe. Anywhere in the world.
Okay, so they're just foundational.
There's a foundational.
Do you mind sharing them?
Yeah, the foundational theories. So the 5 core factors of OPM today's Real Estate Investing Made Simple is starting off with the first one. So I created a polygon. Okay. It's got 5 sides. The top of the polygon is your entrance and exit positions. Okay, going into a real estate position, you need to know what your exit strategy is going to be at. Are you going to be offloading this property in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years? When are you offloading the property?
Right.
When are you going to sell it?
Right.
So the first core factor is entrance and exit positions. Okay. Now under the entrance and exit positions, we go into 2 subtopics. One is called market cycles.
Okay.
And the other one is called inflation. I think inflation.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Because you got to know what's going on.
So on the first core factor of real estate investing made simple, it's the market cycles and national inflation levels.
Okay.
That's what it is. So the market cycles, it consider like a sound wave. A sound wave is like a wave of music.
Right.
So there's 4 sections of the market cycles. One is recession. Okay. I'm sorry. One is recovery.
Okay.
Okay. Then we go into expansion. And then we go to hypersupply, then we go to recession. Okay. These are the 4 core factors of real estate investing. And we need to understand this because when we're going to buy a piece of real estate, we want to make sure that the property is going to appreciate and not depreciate.
Right.
Now, the problem is that when properties, they depreciate, that's because interest rates, they start to go up. Okay. When the cost of money, the cost of borrowing money becomes expensive, it slows the traffic, slows the buying power down, right? And what happens when it slows buying power? The properties stay in the market a little bit longer, right? So those are market cycles, having a clear understanding. Now, understanding national inflation levels is like we were talking about earlier in the podcast. If the market is giving us 6%, if the inflation is at 6%, what is the cost to borrow money?
Right.
Okay.
Because you want to at least match or
be greater.
Or be greater than.
Yes.
Okay.
So if our national inflation level, if we're losing an average of 6% of our money supply annualized, right? When you borrow money to buy a piece of real estate, do you want it to be above or below?
Right.
Okay. You want in this situation, you want it to be below.
You want it to be below.
On this situation, you want it to be below. Yeah.
Are you looking to match too? Just at least
you can match inflation levels. So let's say our national inflation, and it's a lot lower right now. About a year ago, we were at like 5.5%, 6% on the USD inflation level of inflation. Now we're about like 3.5%, 4%.
Oh, nice.
National. So our inflation levels are coming down, which is good for us.
Yeah.
But when you borrow money, you want to borrow money at a lower percentage than the national inflation levels, right?
So
you can one up on national inflation. So that's market cycles and national inflation levels for our entrance and exit positions.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The second core factor is NOI, which stands for net operating income.
Okay.
The net operating income is basically, and I'm just doing definitions right now.
Yeah, no,
just
I love
quick
it.
definitions.
Yep.
The net operating income is your NOI.
Okay.
Okay. And that right there is basically your gross profits of your rents, less your expenses. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. And then we have cap rate. Cap rate is points above or below bank. Okay? So cap rate would be like we talked about earlier. If you were to buy a house in cash and the house is giving you let's say a 5% annual return, let's just say. If the bank gives you 6% on the loan, here, I'm going to loan you $100,000 at 6%. but your property is giving you a 5% return, which aka your cap rate, you're upside down.
You're upside down.
So we need to know the cap rate if it's above or below debt, right?
Okay.
I know it's like kind of technical stuff right now. Right?
No, but that one I understand. That one makes sense. You want to, you're like looking out for yourself. You don't want to be in a loss right away.
Exactly, exactly. And then the fourth core factor is DSCR, which stands for debt service coverage ratio. DSCR. Okay. And DSCR is basically made for the lender. The lender wants to make sure that your property is cash flowing positive to handle the loan amount.
Okay.
So that's DSCR. So all that's in the core factors.
Okay.
The last one is called cash on cash. Cash on cash for me is one of the most critical, or COC for short.
Okay.
And this is the last core factor of the 5 core factors. The cash on cash return, it gives you an idea on how fast you're going to obtain your initial investment back. Okay. So if you're getting a 9% average, let's say you're getting a 9% cash on cash return, you take 100% divided by 9, and that's going to give you a percentage or a year on how fast you're going to get your money back. Okay. So you divide 100% by whatever your cash on cash is, 9%. Also for cash on cash return that we teach in OPM Today's Real Estate Investing Made Simple is that your cash on cash return gives you a ballpark vision on what distribution or dividend you will be able to give out to your investors for parking their money with you. If that makes any sense. So when we underwrite our deals, and we're underwriting our deals, let's say go back to 9%. Okay. We're making a 9% cash on cash return on our piece of real estate. I don't care if it's a single family, it's a 100-unit portfolio. Let's say we're getting a 9% distribution or cash on cash annualized. That just simply says that we're able to give out a 7% distribution, 6, 7, 8% distribution to our investors or LP partners, which are limited partners, and we're still not draining the pot, if that makes any sense.
Right.
So
you're using what you're getting.
We're using the leverage, the capital, or the cash flow of the assets to give distributions to our investors, so they can be happy when they park their money with us,
and that you don't take a loss while doing that.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't want to dry up the accounts because you don't want to do that with your funds.
Yeah, and also no one's going to trust you and want to work with you if that's what's happening. But
exactly. So those are the 5 core factors of the real estate investing for OPM Today's Real Estate Investing Made Simple. And that right there is just a narrative. That right there is just the core concept behind the Investing Made Simple concept.
Okay.
But on top of that, we give them the deal calculators.
Okay.
So the 5 core factors is basically like the theory, and then the deal calculator is the shortcut.
Right.
I want the students, and I want the guest or anyone that wants to partner with us with OPM Today's Real Estate Investing Made Simple. I want them to understand the theory. It's kind of like playing like the guitar.
Right.
A lot of people can play because of sound, but they can't read the music. They can't read the notes.
Right.
So that's the theory. I want everyone to understand the theory because anybody can just plug numbers in a calculator and go from A to Z.
Or pay someone to do it for them.
Exactly.
Right.
So the Real Estate Investing Made Simple Fast Track gives you all the theory, the background, the logistics, the demographics, on how to enter and exit positions in any market, in any city, any state with consistent profits.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great deal for someone who's, fully invested in the real estate industry.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. So what is the sexiest thing about real estate investing, and how much have you personally invested in your own education for this?
In my personal education, now I've been investing in my real estate education for probably around 6 or 7 years now.
Okay.
But the magic number for this one here is $175K.
Wow. You did the math yourself. You've just been adding everything.
Yeah. I invested about $175K into my real estate education. Wow, one of the things I invested was with Grant Cardone's real estate club.
Okay. Nice.
His club is $25,000 for his club. And the $25,000 that I spent in Cardone Capital's real estate club was pennies on the dollar. And the reason for that is because when you join his club, I was able to go on stage. He had a pitch your deal workshop or bring your deal workshop, and I was on stage with over 300 accredited investors.
Okay.
And I actually pitched a 44-unit position in Cocoa Beach, Florida. I believe it was like $3.8 million deal, and I had to do like a $1.3 million capital raise. I went on stage with a whiteboard, everything, and I literally underwrote a deal in front of 300 accredited investors.
Nice.
And I raised $1.3 million in 5 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. So that $25,000 investment for me was
worth it.
It was worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also spent about $45,000 on multifamily mindset on that course too. That was $45K. So I've dumped a lot of money into my education for real estate.
Right. But you've seen it pay forward.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like it's easier to sell your own services when you know it works because you've seen it happen for yourself.
Exactly.
So I love that for you. And then, so what do you love the most about this entire journey?
So the sexiest thing about real estate investing for me is the tax depreciation clauses.
Okay. I love that that's what you chose.
Yeah, it's the tax depreciation clauses. I know it sounds crazy, and but I haven't paid taxes in almost 15 years.
Wow.
I haven't paid taxes almost 15 years, and that's because of the cost segregation accelerated depreciation of real estate investing. Real estate has a depreciation factor of 27.5 years of depreciation. And what that simply means is that you can depreciate 27.5 years of your asset from the time it was bought or purchased, not from the time it was built. So I give you an example. And you can cost segregate up to 30% year one. So I give you an example. I bought a 3-unit position just outside of Brickell for $1,035,000.
Okay.
And you can depreciate 30% of this year one. So 30% of $1 million is $300K, right?
Okay.
So my Airbnb did just under $200,000 in gross sales for the year.
Okay.
So that simply means that if you can depreciate 30% of $1 million, which is $300,000, and you tell Uncle Sam, hey, listen, I made $200,000 on my Airbnbs, but you can depreciate up to $300,000. Where does that $200,000 go if you can depreciate up to $300,000? It goes into your pocket, tax-free, free and clear.
Wow.
So that $200,000 went into my pocket, tax-free. Now, what did I do with the $200,000? I went and bought more apartments.
Yeah.
So with that being said, when I buy real estate, I utilize the tax depreciation at 27.5 years, and I crunch all those years 2 through 5.
Right.
You know, I don't hold real estate more than 5 years. I pull all the depreciation, I crunch it years 2 through 5, and I collect all the cash flow. I depreciate the whole thing in the first 5 years. Put the cash in my pocket tax free because I can depreciate. I can cost segregate it, accelerate the depreciation, and at years 2 through 5, I offload it, I sell it, obviously for a profit, and then I utilize another tax benefit called the 1031 exchange, where I can defer 100% of my capital gains into the next position. So I'm never paying any taxes.
You know all the loopholes.
Yeah, like
you literally know all the
most
loopholes.
millionaires, they park their money into real estate because it's a tangible asset. You can touch it, you can taste it, you can smell it.
Right.
You know, whatever your flavor is. You know, and it's not going anywhere. You know, you can build more real estate, but it's becoming slim to none. You know, but that's where most millionaires and billionaires park their money because it's the tax depreciation codes. Yeah.
Wow, I mean that sounds sexy to me, honestly. Yeah, that's a curiosity. It's exciting, especially when you're able to save a lot of money doing that.
Exactly,
and when the average person has no idea about this.
Yeah, that's why you need to invest in real estate courses and mentorships.
Yes, no, clearly.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you just one final closing statement, just look in the camera and say something to your listeners, to your fans who've been with you the whole way through, and who they can learn something from.
Yeah. So for me, my like all the content that I put out on social media and on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all my content it's value. I throw gems out, and it's not. I'm not charging any money for any of this content.
Right.
All the content that I put out, it's like literally like trial and error.
Yeah.
It's like I've lost, hundreds of millions of dollars on education, on trials and processes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm just putting it on paper and pen and pushing it out to my audience to show you, okay, well, I lost $100,000 here. I lost $500,000 there.
Right.
These are the do's and these are the don'ts. How to shift your contracts, how to shift your lease agreements, what to put in your contract, what to take out of your contracts. And as many loopholes as I possibly can, because the more education is pumped into social media, the more accurate decisions people can take when they're going through their real estate investing journey. You know?
Wow, no, that's so valuable. Thank you. Honestly, it's you can tell you're really passionate about sharing what you've lived through and what you've known and what you've gained. So I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to be super, super thankful and appreciative. Like a younger version of you would have loved to have learned.
I wish
from you.
Yeah. So like going back to the mentor, when I got my first mentor at 33.
Yeah.
Or 32, 33.
32.
And for me, from like 19, from like 20 to 30, you think, because you're young, your brain is like, you think you're on top of the world, and the problem is you're not.
Yeah.
You're not on top of the world. You're not even touching the world. At that point, you're still a kid, and there's nothing wrong with losing money, losing time, losing friends. It's the process of a man growing up.
Right.
You're gonna lose friends, you're gonna lose money, you're gonna lose loyalty, you're gonna lose a lot of things. But that's what makes us stronger as human beings.
Yeah.
And I would say alphas. Alphas. Alphas.
It's an alpha mentality. Yes.
Alpha mentality. Yeah. You basically go into war every day.
Yeah. It's the fighter archetype. I mean, I've been doing podcasts with fighters and athletes, so you resonate on a lot of things that they said as well. It's that when you embody that fighter archetype, you grow into being the man that you wanted to be when you were younger, and it's an everyday.
It's an everyday fight, an everyday grind.
Fight. Yeah, an everyday grind, and you keep building on that mentality. So thank you, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
I really appreciate you.
And So, I mean, thanks guys for watching. It's really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
So our team and I were offering OPM today's Real Estate Investing Made Simple course. So OPM stands for Other People's Money.
Oh, love that.
OPM stands for Other People's Money.
Yep.
And O is the first letter of the octopus.
Love that.
Okay. And so we're offering a Real Estate Investing Made course for anyone that wants to join. And basically, we have two courses or two offers right now. One is the low ticket offer, which is basically A to Z on real estate investing made simple. The 5 core factors of real estate investing. It comes with the deal calculator. It comes with logistics theories. Just a complete overview, like a bird's eye view of real estate investing.
I love that.
That right there is about a $12,000 package, but we're offering it for $497.
Okay.
So that's the value right there.
Yep.
We're basically cutting it almost like 80% off, 85% off.
Right.
And then we have the high ticket item, which is about $7K. And that right there includes one-on-one mentorships bi-weekly with us. It includes Whiteboard Wednesdays, where we break down any deal in any market, any logistics for entrance and exit positions, and Mastermind Mondays. So on Mastermind Mondays, we go through logistics, demographics, how to enter and exit deals and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Also, the high ticket course is also $7K. It comes with $40 million worth of working capital. It comes with over 200 private money lenders. Like you can literally pick up the phone and say, "Hey, listen, John, I need $500,000 for this deal.
Yeah,
I need $250,000 for this deal." Like literally like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like our investors are like itching to like throw money at
money, right?
Oh yeah.
Especially at people who want to engage and want to commit.
The majority
to this.
of our investors, they have money. They have just hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in the bank getting 0 point nothing interest.
Wow.
So they're dying to give it to you for like 9, 10, 11% interest, 12% interest, and that's annualized, right? So if you're giving an investor 12% annualized, it's only 1 point a month.
Wow.
You're only paying 1 point a month to borrow $250,000, $500,000, $1 million, whatever the case may be is.
Right.
Also, on the high ticket item, we give you all the blueprints, all like literally everything A to Z. But the cool thing about the high ticket item is that you have one-on-one access with me directly. Mm-hmm. We have 2 major events annualized. We rent yachts, big yachts. We do like gigantic meetups and meet and greets. You get access to all the private events, like a massive community. Yeah, you get access to all the events.
That's important.
And our goal is to make sure that you level up.
Yeah.
That's our goal. With OPM today's Real Estate Investing Made Simple, we literally give you the blueprint. It's basically like a business in a box, basically.
Yeah. I wish you the best with this course. It honestly sounds so all-encompassing, welcoming, and supportive, which, it's in these days is what we need. Yeah. So I love that for you.
So follow me for more tricks and tips on real estate investing made simple. You can follow me on IG, TikTok, YouTube. It's my social media name is Octo, like OCTO_investor. For more real estate tricks and tips, like and follow.
Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode as much as I did. A big thank you to my team, Reem, Amadou, Bruno, Ed, and myself as the host. And a big thank you to our sponsors, Power Boost, BPI 305 On Air, Jungle House, and SmartInvest. Like and comment and subscribe below. Follow us on Instagram at UnveiledinMiami for more updates.